this video, I'm going to show you where to go find and research Ruby gems. So the main repository for Ruby gems is rubygems.org, and here you can search for gems and you can find out all kinds of cool stuff about them. So let's do it for a real life gem. So I'm going to use Pundit. And this is one that we use for authorization, and it's a really nice gem. It's really clean, very elegant. So I type that in, and you can see it's the first result. And if you click on it, you'll see all kinds of information about it. You'll see the current version. You'll see a brief summary of it, number of downloads. This is important because it shows you how popular it is, and then also the number of downloads for this version. It also gives you something that's really important right here, which is the what to put in the gem file. Now, what is right here, and you can click copy to clipboard, and then if you skip over here, paste it in, and you can see this is what you'd put in your gem file if you're using a Rails application. Gives you this code, and you wouldn't put it in the terminal. I just want to show you what it prints out because it cuts off right here. But what this does is it gives you the exact version to use right now. So this is considered kind of a best practice to use the version that they recommend on the Ruby Gems page, because there's other sources like GitHub and stuff like that, but they don't always update the exact version the way that you'd want it to be. So it's smart to come here whenever you're pulling it in. So it shows you some past versions and gives you access to them. It shows you contributors. And then a very important thing here, it shows you the development dependencies. And so what this means is when you bring Pundit in, it will also bring in these dependencies if you don't already have them installed on your system. So, and the reason why this is important is sometimes you'll run into weird errors with gems kind of having collisions, for lack of a better word. So a good example is if you bring in the will paginate gem, and it will conflict if you have Rails admin installed. And the reason for that is because Rails admin uses the Kaminari dependency, and Kaminari and will paginate have discrepancies, and they have some different things where they have code overwriting, and they can cause issues, and you have to do some meta programming to fix those kind of things. You don't have to worry about that now. I just wanted to show you that when you're researching gems, it's important to know what their dependencies are, because this can help you debug later on. You can come and see, oh, okay, yeah, this looks like this is a problem because this version of this one doesn't bring in a lot of stuff, but say this version of Yard is conflicting with one of the other gems in the application, so I have to clean that up, that kind of thing. So that's something good to know. Now down here, this has links, and one of the typically the most important link down here is going to be the homepage one, and this usually takes you to the GitHub page. And the reason why that's important is because Ruby Gems may be the spot to go to get the correct version and to learn about some of the key dependencies and things like that. But what this does is the GitHub profile usually has the instructions on how to use it. So you can see when you come here, it shows you how to install it and how to include it in your application, and then gives you all kinds of instructions and tutorials on how to use the gem. So the way when I have a new gem that I'm trying to research to see if it's a good fit for the application, the policy and workflow I always follow is I go to the Ruby gem page, I get the correct version, I check the dependencies, and make sure it's relatively popular, because if it's not, it probably hasn't been tested that much and it may not be a good fit. And then from there, I go to the GitHub page and go through the instructions to make sure I'm using it properly in the way that the authors kind of intended to use it. So that's kind of a preliminary introduction on how you can research gems, where you go to find them, and some of the key things that you should look for when you're trying to see what kind of gem you want in your application.